it's impossible to think of ourselves as independent from the media. We are the media. You can say, like, this is my body and this is the world, and, you know, I'm separate and I have my own opinion and agency or free will. But actually, you know, the degree of manipulability is such that I highly doubt that we can really think of ourselves as independent at this point. In this particular room, the piece is especially about sound, because what you're seeing is a boxing match with the sound replaced by a new soundtrack. We've covered the walls with acoustic foam so that it allows you to really hear very clearly the sound production that's going on the video screen. So really, this piece is about a boxing match, but it's equally about a sound production studio. On one screen, you're seeing the boxing match the way it was broadcast, and it's a special boxing match. You know, it was a very anticipated event. A lot of money was involved. And on the other screen, you're seeing what they call a Foley sound studio. You have people using props and their own body to make special effects sounds. This is showing you how this kind of hyper-reality is fabricated. I like the idea that video doesn't have to be in a dark room and that it could exist in a white cube type of space. I mean, I think of video as almost like architecture. You know, video always requires a kind of frame to be seen. So in the main room of the exhibition, there's 5 pieces which are interrelated. They all are playing with images coming from a specific American game show, The Price is Right. It's the oldest game show in television history. Even today, it's broadcast 5 days a week. Somehow, randomly, people get picked out of the audience and they go up on the stage and then they play games to win money or prizes. So what's happening in these pieces is that all the sound is removed, the host of the game show is removed, the prizes are removed. Basically all of the story, the only thing that remains are these ordinary people. I'm specifically choosing moments when it's really like nothing happening. So they're in a state of contemplation. I'm just interested in this series in honing in on this moment. Yeah, in the case of these small videos of Michael Jackson, it's called Live Evil. I was just intuitively drawn to Michael Jackson as a kind of emblem that, you know, everybody knows it. In a way, it's like a subconscious language which is universal. And I like the idea of speaking in a language like this. Particularly with Michael Jackson, something that always attracts me, and the specific subject of these videos is the signature dance that he was famous for, in which he moves like a machine. And all I'm doing then is kind of transforming the image somewhat to intensify the enigma. I isolated the upper portion of his body and I doubled it and mirrored it. So you see his feet, you know, moving, but then from the waist up, it becomes a kind of like mirrored Rorschach form. I also erased his head so that it further abstracts it from the human form into something like a kind of spectacular machine form. This is the moment where, you know, Michael Jackson fully embodies this thing that he is, which is like partially human and partially something else. And what's interesting about it is that the crowd screams when he dances like this. Like, in a way, maybe everybody identifies with this position, which Michael Jackson is an emblem for. Maybe we're all on the verge of becoming something beyond human, and we recognize it when we see Michael Jackson moving like this. There's a room in the exhibition which has 3 sculptures, and they all have the same title, Caryatid. And each of the sculptures is a television monitor that has been transformed by covering the surface with chrome so that their TVs are like mirrored surfaces on the outside. You know, now every aspect is displaying an image. These are not flat screen TVs. They're big, bulky, heavy TVs. The biggest one weighs over 100 pounds. These are antiques. People in 2017 are either throwing away these TVs or, you know, selling them for like $1 on eBay because they're no longer compatible with the signal. So these objects serve as a kind of like time capsule in a way. These TVs, I've actually removed all of the inputs. It can only play one program. Each one has an internal media player. It's cut off from the global system. I play with objects, but really the medium for me is the perception of the viewer. I'm attempting as much as possible to tap into people's psychology.